What's going on, my broskiis? My name is TheLordShiro, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and we have a new data download bringing us a new Pirate Rumble banner. Now, I'm actually pretty excited about this unit, featuring some buffs to the Shooter class. So this is the new banner that's going to be dropping, featuring Sai and Shooter featured characters. So you can see on this banner here, you've got the new guy, S-Bear is going to be making his first appearance. You know, we've had S-Hawk, who's an absolute beast. We've had S-Snake debuting on a Kizuna banner, and she's kind of redundant. Not a lot of people like her all that much. Then you got S-Shark, who's a bit of a tanky unit, and finally getting over to S-Bear. And S-Bear is another really offensive threat, and I think is going to be really annoying to go up against in Rumble. But the thing is, he is for shooters, and shooters are not really the best class in Rumble. Not a lot of support given to shooters, just generally, so I am kind of excited to see this. Shooters are one of my favorite class in Treasure Cruise, so I'm excited to see exactly what this character is capable of doing. The really weird thing, though, is that they're featuring Sai characters as well. I mean, this character is a Sai unit. But the thing is like, we just got done with 14.1 update, and if you complete the missions, the very easy missions, by the way, you can get your hands on Rebecca Toy Soldier for free, Smoothie for free, Gaban for free. So all of these free units that everyone has is now featured on the next Rumble banner, which is a bit of a weird thing, honestly. Egghead Zora is pretty good. Legend Kizaru, for some reason, I mean, he is good for shooter teams specifically. And also Raizo and Shinobu, who's a character not a lot of people have, but is actually very, very good in Rumble. So let's actually break down what this character is capable of doing. So this is the artwork here. It looks very, very good. He is a Sai powerhouse and a shooter character. His captain effect, because remember, even though he's a Rumble unit, he does have normal abilities as well. So his captain ability says he changes all of your crew slots into Super Bomb and locks crew slots for one turn at the start of the quest. So just a full board of Super Bomb, and you get it for multiple separate turns. So that's weird. This is the first type of character that I know that changes all slots to a certain color or to a certain type as at the start of the quest, and also locks them. Very, very strange. But the fact that it's also Super Bomb as well, so very, very weird. He also gives Shooter and Powerhouse characters 1.5 times HP, so that's pretty strong. And then also boosts their attack based on the timing of the previous character's attack, ranging from 5 to 5.5 times. So the multipliers are not really that great, and remember, this is a Rumble legend, so he's not going to have super type, super class, etc. So you're not really going to use him for the captain effect all that much, unless if he has something crazy. Let's continue. Then he also goes ahead and gives damage to all enemies for 80 times the damage received from the enemy at the end of the turn. So, you know, if you get dealt X amount of damage, he multiplies it by 80 and then does it to all enemies at the end of the turn. Technically, you can use it to get around resilience, but the enemy has to hit you. So if you get him down to like 1 HP, you gotta hope that they don't do anything bad at low HP thresholds, and then you can go ahead and reflect the damage back. Bit of a weird scenario, so it would be cool if his special has like a tanking of a death hit scenario. Would be kind of nice, but this kind of effect is what a lot of older Kuma characters would abuse, so I think this effect is a little redundant. He also completely removes this character's own special reverse, so that's pretty cool. And he also completely removes burn on the crew and makes the crew's bomb and super bomb slots have matching slot effects and reduce the damage taken from bomb and super bomb slots by 80%. I think this is the first type of effect that we've seen, like a character that reduces damage from bomb and super bomb. Like obviously like Eustace Kid does that. I think also maybe Vegapunk also does this as well. But usually when they reduce damage taken from bomb and super bomb, they just set it to 0, but this character just reduces it by 80%. I'm pretty sure that if you take damage from bomb slots, it doesn't reflect the damage back with that effect. If that does, then that effect is pretty cool, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. His captain ability is kind of whatever. The special ability, 15 turn cooldown, long special, completely removes all enemies' blue shield. That's actually really good. He also deals 60 times the amount of accumulated damage received before you launch the special in non-type damage to all enemies. Shout out to my man V2 Katakuri, the same type of effect as that, capping out at 6 million damage, so nothing too crazy, but he is a damage dealing special, which is good. He also completely removes all forms of poison on your crew, and he also changes your recovery, empty, block, G, and bomb slots into matching, or not into matching, but it's into super bomb, which makes sense. I really hope he has a crewmate ability to treat these slots as matching as well. So he technically changes poison slots as well, recovery, empty, block, G, and bomb into super bomb, and then changes the attack multiplier of the super bomb slots to 2.5. So he basically makes the super bomb slots equivalent to a Wano slot, and that is for 3 turns. That's actually pretty good. and also boosts shooter and powerhouse characters' slot effects by 2.75 times, or 2.5 times for 3 turns. Allows this effect to be further increased 2 separate times. So you get super bomb slots counting as Wano slots basically for 3 turns, and shooter powerhouse orb boost 2.5 for 3 turns. And that orb boost can be stacked multiple times. So, okay, that's actually a pretty good special, honestly. Furthermore, if Kuma or Sentomaru is on the crew or is a support on this unit, prevents shooter and powerhouse character slots from being changed until shooter or powerhouse character lands a great strike. So it gives you the full board of super bomb, makes them count as Wano, and then also, you know, if you have the support or have the other character on your crew, you keep them basically inevitably forever, right? So this is really good so far. And then after 1 turn has passed, so you get a clock buff, he applies a 30% shooter powerhouse resistance to all enemies for 1 turn, and he further increases your slot effect boost by 0.25, which makes the orb boost 2.75. So yeah, I think S-Bear is not awful. I mean, it gives me kind of vibes of like what S-Hawk did, because S-Hawk obviously was very good in Rumble, but his usability in normal content is kind of there too. Like, S-Hawk was more utility focused, but this character providing really good orb change, he removes blue shield completely, full board of super bomb, which remember is unchangeable by the opponent, and I mean, he also can just put slot change impossible on your own crew anyway, and then also can potentially grant resistance. Like, I think S-Bear is pretty solid actually. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, which is the Pirate Rumble stuff. So what does he actually do in Pirate Rumble? Like, is this guy going to be a meta threat? His Rumble ability, he focuses on characters that are both Psi type and Shooter type. So he only gives buffs to those units that are not only Shooter but also Psi at the same time. So that's not that big of a deal, because a lot of the good Shooter characters are Psi characters, and we'll have a look at a team example in just a moment. But he gives Psi and Shooter class teammates level 6 attack, level 6 defense, level 6 recovery, so that's already fantastic stats across the board there. He then further says that if a teammate is defeated up to 4 times, he gives himself level 2 attack and level 2 special CT increase, and that's not that bad. I mean, having to wait for a teammate to die though is a bit of an issue, because, you know, if he himself can just die and then it just doesn't matter, you know. But I wish this was like every time he takes damage, because, you know, his captain effect and his special are reliant on him taking hits. So this really should say, like, whenever you take damage, it gives himself attack and CT speed increase. But honestly, it doesn't matter that much, because you have a look at his Rumble special, it's a 20 CT. So you don't really need that much special CT to get this special to launch quickly. The effect itself of his special targets enemies in a large frontal range. You don't see frontal range that often, which is basically just straight ahead. So a large range straight ahead for 3.75 times damage, and then when your team has no int teammates, target one enemy with high special CT, 100% chance of force out for 15 seconds. Pretty strong effect considering it's 20-second CT, and especially if you do have like a lot of special CT on your crew, you could potentially cycle this so you can actually have 2 characters forced out at the same time. This does have quite a lot of potential. The only real drawback is you're not allowed to run any int teammates on your crew, which is not that big of a deal. It just means, unfortunately, you can't run S-Hawk. You know, it is what it is. In terms of his Rumble resistances, he does evade Force Out on himself. It's kind of redundant, because a lot of the Force Out is only Free Spirit focused anyway. Damage reduction versus int and increased damage versus int, so this could be good building a Psi Shooter team against int teams. And then potential ability, Slop On resistance. He has increased damage taken, removal, and enrage. And then he does have barrier pierce, but of course, he only goes through barriers if he has 80% or higher health or 20% or lower health. It's just so stupid. I don't know why they've changed that these days. But in Rumble, this guy's going to be pretty strong, because Psi Shooters are not that awful, and in normal content, he's actually pretty good. So this is a team example that I have in terms of what you could potentially build. So the Psi Shooter requirement, I think, is actually not terrible. You've got characters like Super Tandem Ace, which is already a pretty established good character for shooters. Like, if you're building a shooter team, you're probably using Super Tandem Ace anyway. He's just got a great set of skills. He does a lot of damage because he does defense down, he does attack up, and then he does his big hit of damage. You also got Chopper, who's a really great healer for your crew, allowing you to survive longer, and also has a great Rumble ability of granting granting huge amounts of defense, attack, and HP to your crew. And then you've got a character like V2 Kuzan, who provides buffs specifically not to shooters, but to quick and psi-type characters, which of course your whole team is going to be that, granting attack and speed buffs, defense buffs, and he does major fixed damage and can also severely debuff opposing strength and int characters. I mean, as for another legend on your crew, you could potentially use the Psi legend Uta, who can also grant you some really nice buffs to your shooters, special CT increase, and her special ability can provide further buffs to your characters, as well as reducing your character's special CT with the special to allow your characters to launch faster. And then because Esper, remember, is going to be a Rumble legend, he's only going to have 20 costs, so you can slot him into your team pretty easily. And then as for the bench units, you could basically put whatever you want. Considering everyone got access to Rebecca and Toy Soldier for free, a very, very good Psi shooter character you can run on your squad. I think it's a really good choice. But then as for the other characters, we don't have a lot of other good low-cost Psi shooters. So you could potentially use a character like the Film Red Borsalino. He actually does a pretty serious amount of damage, and he's a quick unit, which you can still synergize with Kuzan, who does still boost quick-type characters. You know, obviously the Esper is not going to boost Borsalino himself, but Borsalino does do a really good amount of damage. You got a character also like Raizo and Shinobu, who is one of the most annoying characters to come up against in Rumble because of the ability of major fixed damage, like 5 separate times, as well as 100% chance of action bind in a large range for 10 seconds. It's pretty brutal once you get that to activate, so potentially you could have Raizo and Shinobu potentially on the front line. But with all that being said, that's pretty much all we have to say about Esper. I think this guy is going to be pretty good in Rumble. I don't think it's going to shift the meta in any way, because slashes are just so good right now, but this is just a really nice shift for the shooter squads, because they definitely need more support. They need characters that can do heavy sets of damage, and this is a character that could potentially provide that, as well as giving you some nice utility of forcing out characters to make your team a little bit stronger, and, you know, just avoiding enemy threats altogether. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.